fresh off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back. eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 209 on this Thursday afternoon, October 3rd, 2024. I want to welcome everybody into the show today. Thank you for joining us. To have a couple of interesting stories to get to. Actually, two very interesting stories that I was reading up on this morning. And then we have some information for you as well. iPhone 16 sales numbers and Google Pixel 9a news and Google Pixel 10a news that we'll get to. So we'll try to do all that in a respectable time, right? So if you miss this news, if you miss this podcast, if you miss the show, if you miss one of the news stories that we cover, I just want to remind you, streaming across multiple platforms, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and a multitude of YouTube channels. Always, if you miss a story or you're like, damn, eSIM Studios was talking about that the other day, simply go to YouTube, search eSIM Studios. All of our content will pop up. Now, if you want to take us on the go, running errands, on a road trip, and you want to listen to the audio form, it will be uploaded to our RSS feed, which sprinkles it all aboard, all across the popular podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio app, Samsung Podcasts, everything. Or you can do what I do sometimes, just simply Google eSIM Studios, and essentially the whole page will populate with our content. We've kind of cornered the market on that term and that name, so you could find us by just simply Googling eSIM Studios, and we will pop up. So let's go ahead and get started. Very interesting story. Hey, what's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you joining us today. Check this out. So, as you know, I did a couple, when was it? Maybe it was a couple days ago. Did a stream on SIM swaps, right? Basically, what it is. I do a show once every 6 months, right? Something like that. Not all the time, but just want to keep people's memories fresh of what to look out for, how to protect yourself. A lot of people still do not know what they are. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole description of what it is, and I'll briefly tell you how to protect yourself once we get done with this story. But it's a very scary thing. Just real quick, it is essentially hackers will remotely transfer your number, your cell phone number, from whatever carrier. This has happened to every carrier, all the big ones. Typically, it's just T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. Typically, it's not a Mint Mobile or a Cricket. It's typically the big three, but it's happening across the board. What they do is hackers will get a hold of your cell phone number, and they'll do it internally. So each SIM card that has your info, your cell phone number on it, has a serial number. So in the carrier servers, in their computer system, they will change your phone number and technically your SIM card ID number to their phone. So all your calls, text messages, everything goes to their phone because they've transferred your phone number to their phone. So what they'll do is, once they do that, they'll go to Google, go to Gmail, and say forgot password. Now, a lot of people have their 2FA recovery to their phone number. So they'll get that. They'll say go to Google and say forgot my passcode. And then Google will text them a code, but that code is supposed to go to your phone number, but it's going to your phone number, but on their phone. So they'll log into your Gmail, change the passcode. So you're locked out of your Gmail. Then what they'll do is they'll get in, they'll go to, if they know you have lots of crypto, they'll go to Kraken, they'll go to Coinbase, say forgot password. Now that they have control of your phone number and your email, they'll say forgot password, and then essentially they'll get emailed and or a text message to sign into Coinbase, and then they drain your crypto account. They also do this to Bank of America apps, Chase app, whatever is associated with that phone number and with that email. They can log in, lock you out by changing the password, and then they have full control of your crypto and or your bank accounts. So there's this really interesting story. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Daniel says, on the topic of SIM, might I add that T-Mobile is clueless when it comes to SIM swaps. Their agents are wrong about the process half the time. I wish they'd bring back self-service, but they say it isn't secure, yet they use SMS for eSIM transfers, which is way less secure than a secure site with app-based 2FA. I completely agree. There's a number of things that these carriers can do, and let's discuss what they can do after we discuss this story real quick. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, can y'all see this? There we go. Where are we? So, AT&T. Man, look at these ads. Damn it takes up more than half the screen. There we go. So, AT&T is being sued. So there was a gentleman who essentially got SIM swapped. Now, this was not a normal person like me or you that may have $700 in crypto or $300 in Ethereum. This guy was singled out by these hackers, and they stole his crypto. Now, it wasn't, like I said, $300, $700. This was $24 million. $24 million they transferred out of his account. So they SIM swapped him, transferred all of his crypto out. Shame on you. We'll get into why that can be avoided. Well, not necessarily a SIM swap, but anyways, let's get into this. So, telecommunications giant AT&T is facing a renewed legal challenge in a case linked to a SIM swap hack. A federal appeals court revived a lawsuit where a customer lost over $24 million in cryptocurrencies after the company allegedly let hackers gain control of his phone number linked to his crypto accounts. So this case has been revived, right? So as per the filings, plaintiff Michael Turpin had claimed that the Federal Communications Act survived dismissal. Federal Communications Act survived dismissal. Okay, so the FCC got off the hook. Now, this is a revived court case. So this the first ruling he lost, right? So the FCC got off the hook in the first court case that they dismissed. They did not even award him anything in his first court case hearing. He appealed, and now it's going to the Court of Appeals, right? The lawsuit will examine whether AT&T gave a hacker access to information protected by the act when it was enabled the hacker to perform the SIM swap. This complex case earned the Penske nickname Baby Al Capone. The Ninth Circuit Court had recently upheld several rulings in AT&T's favor. However, the court reinstated a key claim under Section 222 of the FCA, Federal Communications Act. This suggests that Turpin can continue to pursue his $24 million in damages, plus interest from that crypto, and all of his lawyer fees. So he initially sued for like $200 million. Now, he sued the two people that SIM swapped him, they were kids, they were teenagers. He's suing them and the FCC and AT&T for a total of like $200 million. That case was dismissed. He appealed. Now they're re-examining the case. Now, his damages, he adjusted. So instead of in his original case for over $200 million, he said, okay, well, now I'm just going to sue for the money they stole, the interest that $24 million would have incurred, meaning if he had 24 million in Bitcoin in 2018, well, shit, it's a lot more now, right? So they did all those calculations. So he's essentially suing his 24 million plus the interest he would have earned over that period of time between then and now, and his lawyer fees. So essentially he readjusted his damages. Now he's suing for $45 million. Michael Turpin has previously sued alleged hackers Ellis Pinsky for $71 million. Pinsky had returned around $2 million of the 24 he stole. The crypto investor who this happened to won a $75 million lawsuit in 2019 against the SIM card swappers. So this was he won $75 million against the hackers that hacked him, but now he's suing AT&T. Pinsky, the hacker, is now a New York NYU grad. He had reportedly agreed to testify against AT&T in the ongoing case. This move could heavily impact the legal scope of the telecom companies. Now, Turpin will see some success against AT&T. He suggested that U.S. telecom companies need to be held accountable for all of these SIM card swaps. So, allegedly, let me take you back here. I think here's a better description of what happened, right? Because the earlier story I read was more accurate. This one I just read you was kind of all over the place. So the hacker, when he did this, was only 15 years old in 2018. Now, how this happens, check this out. When he was 15 years old, stole $24 million. Ellis Pinsky and a friend, right? So Pinsky and his friend bribed an AT&T employee to transfer Turpin's SIM card information. So they bribed an AT&T employee, and this is a common thing, right? So typically, two ways how this happens. The hackers will bribe an AT&T or a telecom employee, whether through direct messaging, online, or face-to-face. There was a case here in South Texas. When was it? Maybe a year ago. There was a case where they met an employee that works at a physical T-Mobile store here in San Antonio, and eventually bribed him, gave him $84,000 in cash to, I think they performed like 15 SIM swaps, right? 84 grand in cash. And then they just walked up to this guy, an employee that was either coming in or coming out into T-Mobile to work, or when he clocked out to go home. They confronted him, said, hey, we'll give you, whatever in cash. Can you do this for us? And the guy said, sure. Now, both of them were prosecuted, and I believe everybody's in jail. It either happens that way, they'll bribe an employee, or you'll commonly see in these stories a SIM card swap story where you'll commonly see a term where they say a bad actor. Now, what is a bad actor? A bad actor means a lot of times in these SIM card swaps, somebody will actually, a hacker or a friend of a hacker, somebody that's an accomplice, will actually apply for employment to a T-Mobile, to an AT&T, to a Verizon, with the intent to SIM swap somebody, with the intent to get access to these servers, with the intent to have access to T-Mobile's or AT&T's computer systems, and then perform SIM swaps from the inside, not just to have a job and earn money for your family, they get a job to SIM swap. It's that lucrative for these bad guys. However, there's always a paper trail, a digital paper trail, essentially, when it comes to this stuff. Let's see. AT&T had an obligation to protect the SIM card information. A panel in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals found that Turpin's claims were rightfully dismissed, except for the claim under Section 222 of the Federal Communications Act, because Turpin's SIM card information is protected under the Act. The court did not reinstate Turpin's fraud claim against AT&T or his demand for the $216 million in punitive damages. That was his original case. According to Turpin's lead attorney, Pierce O'Donnell, Turpin will now seek $24 million plus at least $14 million in interest and attorney fees totaling $45 million from AT&T. That's his new lawsuit. Right? Turpin originally brought 16 charges against AT&T, but only 3 of them were allowed to proceed. Turpin used his investigative skills to track down Penske, who returned $2 million out of the 24 that he stole. After Penske had the hacker turned 18, Turpin sued him for $71 million, the balance of the stolen funds plus 3 times the damages as allowed for racketeering charges. Nonetheless, Penske agreed to testify on Turpin's behalf in a case against AT&T. So not only did he hack and steal this guy's money, but he's actually going to testify on behalf of the person he hacked, going up against AT&T. Why would he do that? It's probably just to look good in front of the courts, probably just to get lenient jail time. Right? It's like when somebody turns on another a perpetrator. There's multiple perpetrators and one of them rats on all the others. It's basically what this is. So Turpin sued Penske's accomplice, the second hacker, Nicholas Truguglia, for $75 million in 2019 and won the case. Truguglia was 21 at the time of the heist. Truguglia and Penske's meetings online and its dramatic consequences were documented in a feature story in Rolling Stone in 2022. Penske recently graduated from NYU. Now, these telecom companies, why do I bring this up? Something has to change. So this is I'm not going to say a landmark case, but I believe it is a very important case because these companies, check this out. If you have time, you know, when you go get a new phone, right, or a new phone number, or you go to T-Mobile and you get an iPhone 16 Pro, and they basically say, okay, I need you to sign here and here. Well, in that fine print that nobody reads, these carriers are very, very articulate in how they word that fine print. Because if you read it, and I have, it basically says you're signing your rights away if you get SIM swapped. Yeah, that's why I say next time you get a new plan from T-Mobile, a Verizon, and AT&T, before you sign, if you have time, I know they make it extra long, so I believe, so you don't read it, but you're essentially signing your rights away if you get SIM swapped. They do that because they don't want to pay these millions and millions of dollars people are getting stolen from these SIM swap attacks. Now, I believe this could be a landmark case because something has to be done, right? This is far too easy. This happens far too many times. And it not only happens to these super rich people, right? Because you could be an average Joe like me, like you, and say, well, what do I care? This is never going to happen to me. That's not the case. I had a customer 2 years ago. She was a retired Navy officer. She got SIM card swapped. They drained her savings account of over $43,000, gone in minutes. So this does happen to people like me and you. and something has to be done. The government, some way, has to step in there. Now, the Section 222 in the FCA, the Federal Communications Act, I believe they need to update it and or amend it somehow. I don't know how, but something has to be done to hold these companies liable, because if they're not liable for the money that's stolen, what are they, look, yes, it's bad PR when this comes out, but a lot of people just flies over their heads. AT&T wants to keep it that way. They don't want to be held liable. Well, if you're not held liable for damages that your employees do, what do you care? I mean, sure, they may kind of put out a employees manual or internal surveys or internal classes that they have to do online about SIM swaps, but they're just doing that to say, oh, look, well, we've told our employees to look out for this and we're putting forth an effort to try and prevent this. No, they're not. All they know is they don't have to pay, and they're just kind of throwing stuff out there to make it look like they care. Something has to be done by the government to make these companies liable if a SIM card swap, because it's literally people like me and you minding your own business, and next thing you know, all your money's gone, and good luck getting it back. And my customer, I haven't spoken to her maybe in about a year, but this happened about 2 years ago, and she's having a hard time getting her money back. Right, so it's an absolute disaster if this happens to you, and it's not right. It's not fair. We're average, hardworking people, and these companies, these cell phone bills are insane anyways, and just to get your money drained from somebody working within that company, either whether it's a random attack or it's a targeted attack, it's just not right. It's just not fair, and this has gone on for far too long. Now, let me show you. I got a couple screenshots here. So look at this list of people they SIM swap. Check this out. So here's a list of these two teenagers that got this guy's 24 mil in crypto. These are all the people they SIM swapped, right? Probably, I don't know how much they did, but it's got to be well over $100 million, I'm assuming, because they probably hit people they knew had a lot of money. It is probably just some random people like me or you and mixed up in there. Now, if you want to see the web of all these SIM card swaps, check this out. So that's the two perpetrators in the middle. The purple middle right. And then everybody they SIM swapped is around the diameter of them, right? So it shows exactly who got SIM swapped, the name, and then the amount of crypto that they took from that person. And then either that person's crypto went to perpetrator A or perpetrator B. They went on a SIM swap spree, and this happens far too often. It's just far too easy for these companies. And look, even like Daniel was saying, even with some of these quote-unquote safeguards that these companies have, where even if, you know how a lot of these companies are starting to do, like, oh, what's your PIN? You have to give them it's either a 4-digit or 6-digit PIN for them to access your account. That doesn't matter. They do that on the inside. If you have access, meaning certain levels, when you call and you talk to a CSR, customer service rep, they're going to ask you it. But when you get higher up in management, they can access whatever account they want and can just simply bypass that. Right? So it's almost a stupid safeguard just to make you feel safe, the customer. They get by that, right? And an eSIM compared to a physical SIM doesn't matter. They get past that. And It's actually easier from what I heard, having an eSIM. And if you have a SIM pin on your device, yeah, you can go into settings and set a SIM pin where you cannot change your SIM card in this device unless you put in another pin code. Doesn't matter. This is done from the source. This is done from the inside. All the little precautions and little precautionary measures and these little safeguards that these companies do is just BS. It does not protect you from a SIM card swap. They do need to change. Major changes needs to be taken place. But in the meantime, there's only one real solution that I can think of, and that's getting Ifani carrier services. Ifani is like a T-Mobile. Ifani is a carrier like Mint Mobile, Cricket, Verizon, except they've never had a SIM swap. They focus on cybersecurity. So not only do they effort their services and promote their services to politicians, athletes, CEOs, but they also promote their services for people like me or you. Now, is it a little more expensive? A little bit. I think it's $100. It's $90 or $100 a month per line. Now you get unlimited talk, text, data, all that crap. But they guarantee no SIM swap. In fact, they're so confident in their service, they have a $5 million insurance policy. So if you get SIM swapped, you get $5 million. Now, they don't openly promote what service it is. You know, like Mint Mobile is on the T-Mobile network or Cricket is on the AT&T network. Ifani doesn't say, and that's on purpose because they don't want hackers out there. Are they on the T-Mobile network? So I need to hack into T-Mobile servers, or are they on the AT&T network? So I need to hack into AT&T servers, or is it Verizon? They don't say what service they use, and that's on purpose, right? Try to keep everything hush hush. To my knowledge, they have not had a SIM card swap as of yet, and I believe it's pretty secure. So if you're really, really concerned about this, do this. Don't put any banking apps on your phone. Don't put any crypto apps on your phone. If you do have cryptocurrency, get a cold wallet. That means a wallet that's offline. It's a cold storage wallet. You basically load your crypto on it. That's encrypted. Plug it into your computer, and you can essentially transfer your crypto onto this little USB drive, and it's offline. It's not stored in Coinbase. It's not stored in Kraken, right? That's how they steal it out of your account. If you have crypto, buy one of these USB cold wallet storages, transfer all your crypto on that little thumb drive, and store it in your safe in your home or wherever. So that's one thing. Number two, don't have Bank of America or Chase on your phone or whatever bank you use. Don't do it. Simply do it from a computer and only log in on your computer. Remember, the SIM card swap comes in through the carriers, and then they forget password, and then they sign in and lock you out. Third thing is disconnect your mobile number. Like if you have a T-Mobile phone and a T-Mobile number, don't use that same number as your recovery outlet. Meaning, forget your, like for a Chase or for Bank of America, if you forget your password for your recovery, do not put your carrier number on that recovery. And also, if you have a email as your recovery, disconnect your phone number from your Gmail account. You want to unlink as many things as possible. Look, these guys are looking for quick hits, right? So if they're having a hard time trying to log in or figure out somebody's thing, they're going to move on to the next person. I mean, unless you're really, really important. But for people like me or you, the average person watching this, the harder you make it for them to get into your account, the better chance they're just going to move on to the next person. So follow all those, and you should be protected. Ifani, and then go over, get Ifani, and then get all, I think it's EFANI.com, and then disconnect your carrier number from your recovery accounts and all that good stuff. So now, Daniel says it isn't secure yet. They use as already. My bad, I already read that. Okay, check this out. So, where the hell are we? Check this out. iPhone 16 sales are down. Muted, quote unquote. But that's likely due to the unavailability of AI capabilities. Analysts believe Apple Intelligence may generate sales momentum. Now, there was a report that this was a couple months ago that this whole AI thing, which I'm getting annoyed of. And is it really AI? Maybe. Anyways, that's another time, another discussion. There was a report saying laptop sales, PC sales, typically, mainly laptop sales are on the rise. And that's because of AI. Phone sales are on the rise, which not necessarily true, but what is true, and it is backed up by data analysis, this AI thing is driving sales of certain technology items. Now, Samsung saw a rise in sales from their Galaxy AI and the release of their S24 series. And I believe that to be true, and the numbers say that, right? Because that S24 models did outsell the previous models. But it looks like the word is out that these new Apple iPhones with all this cool AI, Apple Intelligence, is not even on the phones yet. So it looks like, the only new thing that's on these iPhones is that little camera button, right? So the word is getting out that these phones don't even have AI on them yet, and they won't for quite a while, right? I think it's a few months at the very least. But Google made this mistake last year. So last year when the Pixel 8 series came out, I remember on launch day at the keynote, they were talking about all this cool stuff the Pixel 8 Pro will do, or Pixel 8 series will do, right? And they mentioned one of the many new features that this new Pixel 8 would do. They would say coming in the next few months, but that wasn't. There was a number of features that were not available on the device that they displayed, and oh god, this is a advanced blah 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 blah. Wasn't on the Pixel 8 at launch. I mean, when you ordered it and you got it in a couple weeks, everything, not everything, but almost everything that they talked about on launch day were not there, non-existent. And they actually delayed a lot, like Apple's doing. And actually, there were a couple features, I think one feature that still hadn't even hit the Pixel 8 series. And that was a huge bummer. And it really, really, really pissed me off, as it does a lot of people. Because when you're watching this launch and you see these publications, the new Pixel will do this and do that and do that, you buy the phone and it's not on the phone. And it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you purchase one of these devices that are very expensive and it's just simply missing. So what's the incentive of buying it anyways, right? This year, Google did the opposite. And I'm glad. This is one of the things I was going to watch and see, because of course on these launches, they make everything look so cool. They really, I'm a sucker for some of these. When I watch these releases, I'm like, whoa, that's so badass. I got to get that phone. I'm a sucker. I'll admit it. They get me every time, because I'm like, damn it, I'm not going to do it this year. And what do you know? A couple hours later, I'm ordering the phone. But Google did not make that mistake with this Pixel 9 series. Everything they displayed, talked about on launch day, what do you know, was on the device when I got it a couple weeks later. So I believe Apple I hope they're not going to make the same mistake for the iPhone 17 series. And I hope they take not only a page out of their own book, but I mean, a page out of Google's book, but a page out of their own book, right? Because, before they released this, and I'm sure while they were discussing all this in these boardroom meetings, it was a risk. Should we release it now? Should we delay it? I'm saying, oh no, we can't delay the launch. Well, the AI is not going to be ready. Well, then screw it. We'll put it in a software update later. Okay, but as you can tell, here's the proof. Sales are down now, which is interesting because I'm currently trying to buy an iPhone, and the one, actually more than one, are all sold out. Now, yeah, there's one over here that was sold out anyways, I'm not going to bore you on it, but a lot of these models are sold out. But I'm also seeing that sales are down. So I'm really not sure, is it just because I have not looked at the inventory in stock for the base iPhone 16 or 16 Plus. I've only been looking at 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max. So maybe this is due. Maybe the 16 numbers are down, but the Pro and Pro Max sales are up. Whatever it is, the numbers this year are less than what they were last year, right? Overall. And that's because people are just simply unimpressed, right? These things are very expensive, as I mentioned, and basically looks like last year's model again. Now, to somebody like me who's never bought a brand new iPhone, I'm kind of the exception, basically. But if I was a typical iPhone user every single year and have been using iOS and iPhone for years and years and years, I probably wouldn't upgrade. Now, maybe I'm a hypocrite because I do that on the Samsung side, right? Samsung S24 looks pretty close to the S23. Samsung upcoming S25, pretty similar to the S24. Am I still going to get it? You're damn right I'm going to get it. It is what it is. I don't know. But that is a real thing. I think when they release the iPhone 17 series, they're going to have the features that they all talk about at launch on the device when it hits the customer's hands, a week or 10 days after the announcement, right? So I think you see them make the same mistake Google did last year, and I just hope moving forward that they corrected this as Google did this year. Very happy to see Google fix a lot of things that were basically in the negative. You got pros and you got cons. Google, it takes time. It takes a couple generations to slowly cross off all of the cons on the pros and cons list. And it's not a perfect phone, but it's damn near. It's pretty good. This Pixel 9 series is great. So I think they've written the wrongs, and basically moving forward, I think Apple going to have a hard lesson to learn, but they're going to have all these features on the device when it launches next year. Boy, oh boy. Check this story out. This is a crazy ass story. So, there's another pair, not necessarily hackers, but lawbreakers. So, two men swapped 6,000 fake iPhones with real ones by replacing serial numbers, sentenced to 57 and 54 months in prison, and they got fined big money. So basically what they were doing is, now let's see, the two fraudsters from Maryland cheated Apple out of $2.5 million worth of iPhones and have been given lengthy prison sentences along with a restitution fine. The fraud was a clever one, but we have seen it in the past. This is not new, involving fake iPhones traded in for new iPhones. So here's how it works. Pretty clever, right? Pretty clever. But don't you know you're going to get caught? Like, here's what they do. And I actually have one of these devices here. I just never used it for this. So there's a, let me see if I can get it. Hang on, let me find it. I actually have the device where you can change serial numbers. Hang on. I have to go looking for it. Maybe if I find it, probably in the other room in one of the closets. But okay, so it's a little device, and I use it for unlocking iClouds. Not on everything. It's only for a certain model, but you can openly buy these on AliExpress. You can change serial numbers. So what they were doing, they were buying. Everybody knows of the iPhone clone, right? Like a cloned iPhone. You see them every now and then, or somebody trying to sell you a cloned iPhone. It's not real, right? It looks like an iPhone, but it's actually running on like Android 12, and it has like a iOS launcher on it. So what they were doing was they were taking serial numbers from real iPhones, same model, same color, same storage variant, because you can scan that serial number. And like I have on my servers here, I can scan the serial number and it'll pull up all the data on it, right? So they were taking real serial numbers. Now, what they were doing is they were taking these cloned iPhones. I'm sure they were ordering from DHgate or China, ordering these fake iPhones. They were taking serial numbers from real iPhones and essentially programming that serial number with that little device that I have, plugging it in to the fake iPhone and programming it to the real serial number, programming it onto that cloned iPhone. And then what they would do is they would take that cloned iPhone with the real info on it, and they would go to an Apple store, right? Or they would call up Apple and say, hey, I have an issue with my phone. And they say, no problem, send it in. So they sent in a cloned iPhone with a real serial number on it. Now, when Apple gets the phone, whether it's in an Apple store or the headquarters you ship it into to get fixed, they couldn't fix it. It was a known issue that basically couldn't be fixed, and the only way Apple can rectify that problem is just send you out of a replacement device. So they were sending in fake iPhones and anticipation, knowing Apple couldn't fix the issue, so Apple would send them a real iPhone. So I think you can buy a cloned, and then they would sell that replacement iPhone that they got from Apple. They'd sell it on Swappa, they would sell it on OfferUp, Mercari, and then they would pocket the profit. So you can buy a fake iPhone on DHgate. Let's actually, you know what? Let's try it. I mean, I'm not going to buy one, but let's see what they go for, and maybe we can see what their profits are. DHgate. Okay. Here's DHgate. Now, what if you type in, what the hell? iPhone clone. All right, so look at this. So you can get, you can get a fake iPhone 16 Pro. iPhone original unlocked. So look, this is an iPhone XR converted to an iPhone 16 Pro. You can, oh look, they give you free AirPods as a gift. What do you know? Oh, so nice. Free, I'm sure those are fake too. So you can get a fake iPhone 16 Pro for $211. Not bad. $211 for a fake iPhone 16 Pro. So let's say, okay, and that's what, $1,000 brand new. So what they do is, look, this company here on DHgate converts, and it is an iPhone, but it's an iPhone XR. And look, it does have a notch up top, which, duh, the iPhone 16 Pro has the dynamic island. It doesn't have the notch, but some people out here, they don't know. So essentially they're paying $200, and they're buying in bulk, right? So you can get them if you buy more. You get what, 180. So they're buying them for 180. And what would they sell an iPhone 16 Pro right now? It goes for shit, I don't know, $1,000 or probably $900 now, since it's technically used, brand new. It's $1,000. So $1,000 minus the 180 that they paid for this fake device. Well, yeah, it's technically a fake iPhone 16 Pro. So minus 180. So they're profiting $820 on each device. Now, times 6,000, let's see how much money they made. And then we're just rough estimate, right? Okay, so $820 per device times 6,000. $4.92 million. So they finally got busted, right? And how dumb can you be? It's a clever little hack. It's a clever little scam, but you don't think you're gonna get caught, right? I could imagine them getting away with it after doing like maybe 3, 4, 5 times, but 6,000 times. You don't think Apple's gonna catch on? You don't think they're gonna flag you? Especially if they're going to the same Apple store every time. Imagine that, because look, every major city has at least one Apple store. I think here we have 2. I think Houston has 2 or 3. Dallas probably 2 or 3. You can't go to the 2 or 3 stores like all the time. They're going to be like, what the hell? This dude's coming in here all the time with a new iPhone that got to be replaced every week. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, and then especially if you ship them in, right? They're in the system, they're always going to see this iPhone. Now, I'm sure they probably tried to get other people to do the same thing, but then just give them the money, and then they give that person a cut. But you know they're going to catch on. Stupid, right? You know they're going to catch on, and that's exactly what happened. But I just thought it was an interesting case, an interesting story of clever little scheme, but turns out, again, 6,000 times, really? Like, come on. Anyways, let's see what else. Pixel 9a. Pixel 9a. So last week we got the first look of the Pixel 9a, and here you go. Does look different than the traditional Pixel 9. So the A series, the watered down, cheaper version of the flagship Pixel series, has always followed the design fairly similar to their flagship sister series device, right? And Google traditionally has that camera bar going across the back. The A series would always have a bar across the back, even though sometimes it'd be a little smaller or less pronounced. This year, they're making the device with no camera bar. Meanwhile, the Pixel 9 series, the flagship series, continues with the little camera island back there. So this one's just going to have where the sensors are, no bar. That's the main design change. Now, Google bumped up the release date of this Pixel 9 series from October. They traditionally release the flagships in October. This year, they bumped it up to August. Well, they're doing the same thing for the 9A series, or for the A series. Traditionally, the Pixel A series has always been released in May. This year, they're moving it up. So this year, they're going to release it in March. Now, not a drastic 2 months of a bump up like the Pixel 9 series was, but this one is just 1 month in advance. But look, the sooner we can get these, the better for the consumer, right? Now, this isn't just a one-time deal, and that's the news today, is that they're going to release this in March, and it's going to continue until they change it, meaning not only is the Pixel 9a going to release in March 2025, but the Pixel 10a is going to release in March of 2026. So a little bit of news there if you're interested in this device, and I'm sure it should be a pretty good device. It's going to have that Tensor G4 CPU in there. I know I dogged it when we first got the news and the benchmarks of this G4 Tensor, but I don't have any complaints, right? I kind of eat my own words, sticking my foot in my mouth, but that's fine. I don't have any problems being wrong. It's been a wonderful device. Battery life on here is insane, and you can expect that from this device. So the Pixel 9a will have the Tensor G4. It'll have a 90 hertz display. Not sure of the cameras on the back, but I'm sure they'll be pretty damn good. Pixels always take good photos. I think the only thing that we really be missing is wireless charging. I don't use wireless charging, so what do I care? Display will be a nice AMOLED display, and the screen size I believe shall be 6.3. We don't know for sure, but it appears it's going to be like a 6.3 inch display. So yeah, I'm excited. And again, the Pixel 9a series is a really good device for anybody, right? Even myself. Or if you need a second phone, right? This is a perfect second phone to have. If you need to get your teenager their first phone, or grandparent or parent that's a little older, perfect device for those types of people that just want a phone, right? The Pro and the Pro XL are more for people that really want the enthusiasts like us, right? And the A series is for security and simplicity, right? You don't want to worry about your phone. You don't want to worry about this. You don't want to worry about that. And it will be updated for 7 years in the future. Get a Pixel 9a, right? When it comes out. So they're phenomenal. What else do we got? Colors. Colors were released. You're going to get porcelain. You're going to get white. You're going to get obsidian, which is black. You're going to get peony, which is pink. Here we go. And you're going to get, what is it? Peony and iris. What the hell is iris? Let's see. Oh, they're going to have a blue? Let's see. If y'all want these wallpapers, I'll put the link down below. They look basic. I'm not a big fan of Pixel wallpapers. They look kind of girly to me, so I don't really rock those, but I'll put the link down there if you want them. Iris. So they're going to have white, they're going to have black, they're going to have pink, and it appears they're going to have, I don't know what iris is, though. I don't know. I wish they would just say white, black, pink, blue. Like, why do they got to, I don't know, naming all these weird names? Just tell me if it's white or black or silver, gray, pink, blue, purple, whatever, red. So, anyways, that's the Pixel 9a news for the day. So I'm going to get up on out of here where I'm at about an hour. Daniel says, I see a lot of people not want the new iPhones because it has AI. Oh, wow. Not because it's been delayed. No shit. People, lots of fear of AI still. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't think of that. I thought it was the opposite. Interesting. I may look into that. That's, I had no idea. So, pretty interesting. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for hanging out with me and discussing tech news. I do it every day and try to do it every day. We'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I think I'm going to try and do a giveaway tomorrow. It's been a while. Been busy with other stuff, so I do apologize. But I'll put a community post out. I'll find something to give away. I got something here to give away. Why don't we do that? Let's do a giveaway Friday. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a giveaway. So let's do that. Come back. See us tomorrow on the live stream. We'll do a giveaway. And we'll enjoy the Friday. So I'll see you tomorrow. Please be safe. Take care. Peace out.